Hi there, this is Jacob Nash Algebra Lessons, and this is Unit 6, Lesson 7 on rational exponents. So I already kind of went through this in the last lesson. So to review, remember there's cases when you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide exponents. So you can see when you're multiplying the bases. So I already kind of went through this, but as a review, here's the bases. Here's what you're doing to the exponents. So basically, when you multiply bases, you add exponents. When you divide bases, you subtract exponents. When you raise a base to a power, you multiply exponents. And when you take a root of a base, you divide them. That's what we're doing. So that's something we need to know. Also, here's another rational powers rule. So you can have a fraction of an exponent. Sometimes you can have, for example, a to the 3/4. What you do is you can have the root. You put the bottom number in the index place, and you put the top number in the under the root. So that's what that means. The same thing. A to the 3/4 and the fourth root of a cubed. Also, there's another thing. If you have a negative exponent, for example, -1, you can also just do this, 1 over a. So you take that exponent, you make it the numerator. Or sorry, that's a bad example. You don't make it the numerator. 1 is the numerator. Let's do this one. A to -9th. Then you have 1 over a to the 9th. That's what you do. You keep the exponent the same on the denominator, and you put that over 1. So those are things we need to know. And also, when you're doing things like this, bases need to be alike. If they're not, make them like that. If it's not possible, to do that, then you just can't do anything. So 216 to the 1/3. We need to first draw our root symbol, or our radical symbol. We put the bottom number, 3, in here. We put the base in the root. And we put the top number, 1, on this. But since it's 1, we just don't need to do anything. Can you further simplify? Yes, because this cube root of 216 is 6. That's that one. This one, we're multiplying. But before we multiply, we probably just want to make them in radical form. So let's go here. So we need to make this in radical form. Actually, I guess you don't necessarily have to do that, but I guess we can. I'll show you both ways. So first, making it into radical form. So we do the root, top number outside, base inside, bottom number outside, base inside, top number on the base. Doesn't need to do that because it's just 1. Okay, we have that. We multiply that by, we do the same thing. We have 4. We have 125. And since they're alike indexes, we can multiply the bases, or now they're radicands. 125 times 5 is 625. Now we have the fourth root of 625 is 5, so that would be our answer. That's not the only way you can do it. I will show you a different way to do it. And I told you can't do anything at the bases. You need to make the bases alike, which are 5 and 125. If you needed to do that and not make it in radical form, we can just say this is 5, and then to make the 125 also a 5, we would need to do 5 to the 3rd. Okay, because that equals 125. And then you have this out here. This goes back to their rule. Since we're raising the base to a power, you multiply the powers. So 3 times 1/4 is 3/4. So you have 5 to the 1/4 times 3 to the 3/4. Now, since we're multiplying bases, we add exponents. 1/4 plus 3/4 is 5 to the 4/4, which is just 1, and that would mean that we get 5. So we got the same answer. But it's just a matter of how you would like to do it. Personally, I think I would like to do the radical form the first way I showed you. But it doesn't matter. Well, I don't really need to erase that. Okay. Now let's go down here and see, oh, we actually have a y this time. So let's see how that's going to turn out. All right. So we need to, well, we can, well, since we have, like I said, since we're raising the base to a power, you need to multiply the powers. Oh. Gosh. I hate this thing. It keeps doing that. There's absolutely no reason it needs to. So we need to multiply the exponents. Not only do we need to do this, there's still a 1 on here. Don't forget that. Okay? So we're really distributing it. So that means 16 to the 1/2 times y, and 8 times 1/2 is negative 4. So then we have 16 to the 1/2. We can make that in radical form. Bottom number outside, which we really don't need to write anything, because that would make it a square root. And then we have this in here, 16. And then we have this here, but we don't need to write that. And that would just be 4. So we have 4y to negative 4. Sometimes they'll want you to not make it like that, so you have to change this y to negative 4 to not negative exponent form, which I told you make 1 over y, and then now it gets to be positive, times, we still have 4 over 1. You multiply that, you would get 4 on the top, and then y to the 4th on the bottom. That's your answer. So that is how you do rational exponents. I don't know what's the exact word for it, but that's not that hard if you think about it. It sometimes seems difficult, but I hope I put it in a way that made more sense. Just remember, these are your exponent rules. You look at what you're doing for the bases, and that tells you what you'll do for the exponents. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.